When the economy is this bad, you might as well just go for your dreams.
It's almost like capitalism trumps religion.
If it was my business partner and I found out they were having an affair with a
this
junior
guy!
staff member, would
See
I break the business up?
Hand-drawn map that led to one of the places where she was storing some of her Bitcoin.
Oh my lord. Yo everyone, welcome back. Brand new techish. It is me, Michael, and I'm back with
Abadesi. What's up, bro?
Abadesi in the house. I'm kind of depressed. Apparently,
Oh.
being a millennial founder is no longer the in thing. So obviously, millennials have carried the startup wave. Zuckerberg's a millennial, but now the latest cohort for YC, which is kind of the preeminent tech accelerator for startup founders, their cohort, the average age has dropped from 30 in 2022 to 24 in 2025. So it's not necessarily just even a different generation. It's just even just like a much younger cohort of people. The number of accepted applicants aged 18 to 22 increased 110% year over year. There's even been examples of like 14-year-olds applying. I don't know if they've been accepted, but you know, they want to get involved. What's your thoughts on this? Is there a part of it where it's like, listen, man, enjoy your youth? Or do you see the value in like young people just saying, you know what, while I'm young and I've got energy and I've got no responsibilities, let me go ahead and like just join YC?
I'm confused because I thought Gen Z were all about that soft life.
No.
So
get off TikTok.
My algorithm has sent me down a rabbit hole. I think there's like multiple factors involved in this. I think one, like older people are just jaded about late stage capitalism and realizing that, you know, the dream of having a successful startup being the next unicorn is like so low probability.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. When the probability is like non-zero, it's like, I kind of want better odds because I'm tired. And maybe I actually just need to like pick something that's sustainable and like gives me a healthy, you know, not going to say work-life balance, but at least time outside of work. And then I think conversely, investors maybe know that. So there's like a bit of pattern matching where it's like, oh, you're kind of at the age where you like might be having kids and then those are going to be a distraction, or, you know, you don't have the vigor, the energy to like pull all-nighters, like powering through Red Bull. So I think there's like a bit of that going on. I'm most surprised that young people who I thought, you know, grew up watching like, I don't know, 9/11 and like 2008 stock market crash and like all these kinds of things in their formative memories would be like wary of this hyper capitalist sector, because I thought they would want to like, I don't know, go out off grid or like be environmentalists, or like, I'm just confused that they want to be like hyper capitalists.
So hold on, 21 years ago is 2004, which means that you have no memory of 9/11 and you pretty much have no memory of
so
the Great
basically
Recession.
You just like watch Silicon Valley and industry and you're like, that looks good.
Yeah, so they don't have, I think what you described is more of the millennial kind of historical narrative. I think, one, when the economy is this bad, you might as well just go for your dreams, because the odds of getting a well-paid graduate job and the odds of going for a startup, they're kind of almost like for like, or at least it appears that's like for like.
It's that bad.
I mean, listen, I know graduates who are looking for work, and if you can code, like, why the hell not? Just go for it.
Yeah.
Two, I think AI is the game changer. I think AI has reduced the barriers to coding and building apps. Obviously, not only can you use AI to build, also the type of products that you can build, you can just build on top of a large language model and build an AI note taker app or something along those lines. So there's opportunity there. So I think that's those two factors: the fact, the ease of building, the opportunity. True. Obviously, there's been a few notable examples like Cluely and Series that have kind of been like Gen Z founders.
Yeah.
The other thing is also that distribution now is so heavily focused and tilted towards things like TikTok and these sort of viral mechanisms like reels that these young people understand. That also means that, yo, that's great. And then I think when you have a new technology, back to AI again, when it's a new technology, people who understand it best are those who are native to it. Millennials are using AIs in a way where like it's kind of additive to their workflow, whereas Gen Z have built their whole lives around it. You know what I mean? They've got it in university. It's their life companion. It's their therapist. It's their whole kind of life operating system. So they understand it completely. So those are some of the reasons. And also, like, I think the whole 14-year-old applying thing, I think people are very much tapped into the get rich quick culture. And like, you know, you go on TikTok and you see, I'm on my Lamborghini. You don't want to be a wage slave. You don't want to be a brokey Andrew Tate, blah, blah, blah. And so like, when you're 14, you're just like, yo, like, I need to get it happening now. So that's also, I think, a factor too.
I mean, that's a shout out also to like Y Combinator's relevance, because like, how would you even know? Like, I didn't know what Y Combinator was when I was 14. I didn't.
Information is there, man. If you spend time on X or Twitter, like you can tap into that, and you know, you're a few followers, you're a few podcasts away now from finding out who's who.
See the Wikipedia page of that. I mean, I definitely think It's also a sign of how the startup industry has matured since we were teenagers and we were
Hmm.
young. Like, in the sense that it's now seen as a credible option, like regardless of the motivation, whether it's to change the world, to get rich, whatever, whatever. It's something that, like, in the consciousness of people, even in the pop culture, it's normalized now. It's like
Right.
more prevalent, and it's there. To your point around like, oh, you grow up as an AI native person and you just use it in so many ways. I know this is going to make me sound so old, but like, I kind of miss like, Web 1.0 or whatever is like GeoCities, MySpace, Zanga, and stuff like that. And like,
Ankh.
I feel that like that,
Auntie.
but that world of internet is coming back in design, but
Hmm.
not coming back in terms of like actually how we interact with products. And I kind of feel that our contributions to building on the internet, like I remember building websites on GeoCities and
Mm.
like Homebase or HomeSpot, whatever these
I don't know that one,
Homestead.
boy. But yeah.
I don't even, yeah. What happened to that generation of people? Like, what happened to that? Like, because coding then changed away from like dragging blocks and things like that to being harder. And then we got lost along the way. I don't know. I'm just wondering. I feel like there's a disconnect. Like, here, there's that clear pipeline of like AI first young people who now are continuing their use of the tools. But what happened to people that were using the tools? It's like the tools then changed and we
Hmm.
got left out. You see what I mean?
I wouldn't say we got left out. I think those
Yeah.
millennials that were inclined to build became builders, and those that weren't, right? I mean, not every
Yeah.
single person is going to want to go down this route. And also, still, like, you got to remember, like, even though you could do drag and drops and stuff like that, the idea of building a scalable app, launching
Mm,
AWS, still required a lot of technical know how. It
true.
wasn't that straightforward. You know what I'm saying? To building on Wix to building Wix, that's a big leap.
Yeah,
Right
yeah,
now
yeah.
with AI, like it's probably a lot more accessible. And also, I think YC is also marketing towards young people too. They've got like
Facts.
they've got like requests for startups, and
Yeah.
they're on TikTok. I see them. They're on Instagram, and
Hacker News is still alive and
yeah.
well.
I think
Yeah.
Hacker News is more millennial, old school. But I see they have a TikTok account, and people are like, oh, like how do I apply? And I really want to apply. And then think about it. What does it hurt to apply? You apply, you get in, they give you funding, you've got a salary for 2 years, maybe 3 years
Mhm.
if you stretch it out at best. Doesn't work out, you go back to a 9 to 5. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's quite low risk if you are privileged enough to get in, and you have the kind of ability to take that risk. One other thing about YC, I wanted to ask you. So they do like requests for startups. So if you're someone
Yeah.
listening and you're an entrepreneur and you're looking for an idea, you can potentially pitch YC an idea that they have kind of seeded. So they are asking for startups that are 100% AI agentic businesses.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? So let's say, for example, you build an AI agent that can help lawyers. You may say one version of that is, I'm going to build this tool and I'm going to sell it to existing law firms. The other idea, which would be the 100% AI agentic business, is that you start a law firm all built around AI agents. And
Yeah.
you have different people in the company. One AI agent is the secretary, one AI agent is the
Mm.
lawyer, one AI agent is the admin person, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And you go completely native. How do you feel about that? Would you use a law firm that was 100th the price of a real lawyer to get you some cursory legal advice if you knew that it was all agents all the way down?
I
Would you
mean,
be comfortable doing that?
this is like a classic sort of like elasticity of like demand kind of question, right?
Yeah.
Like, how sensitive to price am I really? Because at the end of the day, is that the utility that I need from this service? It's not just about getting the best deal for me. Like, if it's a high stakes law case, I don't know, like a divorce or like any kind of contract dispute where there's money on the table, I
Mm.
feel like a high stakes decision for me, I want to have a low, low, low risk path forward. But that's my mindset, right? And that's how I'm thinking about it. Maybe I'm not super sensitive to price when it comes to these things, but someone might be very sensitive to price. It might be the difference between not having a lawyer at all and actually getting legal advice. And if you are that kind of person, maybe it would be really valuable. You know what? Like, we're only going to find out if people like go for it. Like, I
Yeah.
find it really interesting to think of a fully AI agentic use case for our world, right? We deal a lot with the employee journey,
Mm.
from brand awareness to actually recruiting them, whether that's through events, storytelling online, content marketing. There are so many opportunities where AI could improve really important elements of the employee lifecycle that are currently abandoned. Most companies have rubbish onboarding.
They do.
Absolutely rubbish onboarding. Imagine like a personalized AI service that not only helped coach you throughout your layoff or your career move, then got you the job by coaching you throughout the interviews, helped you negotiate because you're rubbish at that or you don't like it, helped you review the salary and the contract and decide what your pension contribution is going to be, blah, 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 helped you ensure you did all the paperwork on time, filled in all your bank details, whatever, helped you design your first 30, 60, 90 days, but also designed the like cultural onboarding to make sure that you met with all the right people and did this and did that. And then the minute things weren't quite going the way they wanted to, helped you then initiate the process to, I don't know, make a complaint to HR or like start looking for new jobs. I don't know. Like, I think there
Mm.
is a world where you would actually feel more comfortable talking to potentially an objective AI agent whose sole responsibility in that is your priorities, your earning potential, your mental health, your energy, than an internal company person who's kind of got a conflict of interest.
Listen, request for startups. Abadesi just nailed it. We're gonna clip that up and we're gonna send that to YC. Let's see if she gets in as a millennial, or if you want to work on that idea
Let me
and you
lie
want to
about my
send.
age. Do
If
you
you
know what
want
I should
to,
do? Gen Z front person. There's a Gen
yeah,
Z front person, 18, 19, 20, come be my
yeah,
co-founder.
with a curtain hairstyle. You know what I'm saying? Old school, that 90s hairstyle that's back in fashion. Yeah, you know what? That's great. I think the funny thing is that you have that agent working for you, but then you've been negotiating against an AI that at the company who's not going to give you the, the salary. So it's like your agent versus their agent who wins. Like, but I definitely feel like there is something there. It's actually a great idea. It's just, would people be willing to invest in their own careers to that extent? If like, is that model? Would you pay like for your own career advisor when you're unemployed and you need help? Essentially, yeah, there are some people that would. You ever Google yourself and think, wait, why does the internet know where I live? That's data brokers for you. These companies legally collect and sell your personal info, your name, address, phone number, even your relatives' names, and anyone with a credit card can buy it. That's why I use Delete Me. It's a hands-free service that finds your personal data across hundreds of data brokers and people search sites and gets it down. And here's why I rate them. 1, they've been doing this for over 15 years, and they're the leading experts in personal data removal. 2, they actually verify your data before submitting removal, so you're not exposing yourself even more. And 3, you can talk to real privacy advisors when you need help, not some faceless bot. And it's not just for individuals, it's perfect for businesses as well. If your employees' data is floating around online, that's a serious security risk. Delete Me helps reduce that exposure before it becomes a problem. So yeah, if you care about privacy at home and at work, it's a no-brainer. Get 20% off at joindeleteme.com/techish with the promo code techish. That's TECHISH. That's joindeleteme.com/techish, code techish. Protect your people, protect your data. The link is in the show notes. On a more kind of cultural and depressing note, so there's been a series of viral TikToks by this woman called Nikelia Monroe. I think I've said her name correct. She's based out in the US, and she decided to do a social experiment wherein she would go around calling churches across the US, claiming to be a mother of a newborn baby who's run out of baby formula. So she would have like the sound of a baby crying in the background. And she wanted to see, would these churches be willing and able to help her in this situation? So she called a total of 43 religious institutions, churches, temples, and mosques, and only 9 decided to help her. The
Wow.
rest of them declined, redirected, said, we only help our members, or
Mm,
maybe we only do help on certain days of the week. Now, what was interesting is that
mm,
several of the institutions that helped her, some of them were mosques, some of them were Catholic churches. There was a few African American Black owned churches, like a few Baptist churches, and there was a
mm,
Buddhist temple. These were some of the folks that helped. But there was a lot of like mega church institutions,
mm.
evangelical type churches, where it's a very lucrative business to be an
Yeah.
owner of that church, and they were unwilling or unable to help.
Mm,
And it's now kind of sparked a conversation about what
yeah.
is the role of churches getting these sort of tax-free breaks if you are not willing or able to help the poor. We often hear government's spokespeople or right-wing people say, like, it's not the role of government to help. It should be people should go to charities, to their churches. Well,
Mm.
these are the churches.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We tried to do the big society and go in and not rely on government help, and people are not willing or able to help. What does this spark in you? Like, do you understand why this has gone viral? Like, why there's such a built-up sentiment of people saying, like, hold on, what is going on here?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think, well, one, it's like classic rage bait, first of all, right? It's just like, look, organizations that are meant to help are like not helping. Two, it's like about money or like in need, and like everyone's looking for some kind of cause to rally around and prove their sense of morality around. Thirdly, I think it's also like religion is always going to get people talking, whether you are religious or not, because people, I don't know, are looking for meaning, looking for spirituality, but also like looking to criticize like the institutions that like embody it. But I think it's really interesting to see almost the way that we approach a debate now, because we kind of like start with like a viral story and use like the focal point of that story as like the way to unpack like a wider issue.
Mm.
And all I'm saying around that is like, how many calls like that a day do these like organizations get? And what was like the nature of those responses? Like, did they direct her to a food bank? Did they direct her to like a helpline? Was it just like a straight no? I'm not trying to defend the organizations, but I guess it's one of those things where it's like, um, one, I'm kind of like not shocked. I'm like not shocked that like institutions that are run by people are flawed and
Mm.
failing.
Mm.
And then two, I'm not shocked that people are like outraged about it. I just think,
Yeah.
we're in that world now. I think it's like a weird way to spend one's time. It like, is the creator someone that was trying to like what's their usual content like?
I don't know, but I guess,
Okay.
listen, going viral is, you
That's
know,
the name of the game now,
that's the name of the
basically.
game. It's a good within itself, but I do think it was a very helpful social experiment. And a
Mm.
lot of these churches now are responding and trying to kind of clap back and say, "Oh no, you just caught us on a bad day," or "Our members are very generous," blah blah blah.
That's so
As a
interesting because there's like that real cult of the leader in those megachurches. I mean, look,
hundred
I'm from
percent,
Nigeria and we have lots of those. I'm also from the Philippines, and not far from where my family are in the Philippines was someone that was recently arrested because he, through his megachurch, was embezzling funds, money laundering. Guy went into
yeah,
hiding. Like they literally had to like track him down. And I think what is really sad is that we collectively don't ever like seem to learn. Like we just kind of gravitate towards these cult like leaders, even though in a lot of the texts it actually warns us to avoid people like that,
hundred
right?
percent,
Like,
yeah,
so I don't know what it is. There's like some kind of flaw in our hardware, in our software, whatever. Like there's something in the flaw, like flawed in our design that we continue to be manipulated by these people and we continue to let them. And I think that's why there will always be mega churches. What was that video you sent me of the guy who was like, if I'm lying, let God strike me down. And then it actually
yeah,
like fell
yeah,
over.
yeah, yeah.
And then the other guy that was like, look at my new car that God got for me. And so I was like, can I drive it? He was
That
like,
was AI,
nope.
by the way. I've seen people share that, not realizing that was AI. That wasn't real, but like, yeah, that's
Right.
that's
Okay.
that's
You keep
hilarious.
sending me your uncle reels, and now my algorithm's
I'm
gonna get
testing you,
messed up.
and you're failing. I'm testing you, and you're failing. You know
It was
what though?
funny
So,
though.
so my background, I went to Catholic school, and I was a
I
good
didn't know
Catholic.
that. St.
Yeah,
Michael. Huh,
yeah. I was baptized and all that stuff, and
nice.
but I became basically agnostic as I've grown up.
Heathen.
Yes, I
Okay.
have become a heathen. So from my outside perspective, somebody who's not really religious, I often see that many strains now of Christianity have become very. It's almost like that prosperity gospel, right? It's about what can I get? People tend to
Mm,
pray when they want something. They tend to pray when they need an outcome, whether that's a new job, which is nothing wrong with
mm,
that per se. And the pastors probably look like somebody who is aspirational. Why would I want to pray and be led by somebody who's broke? And that's what I kind of see from the outside. And it kind of deviates so much away from, and I'm not an expert of Christianity, but I have studied it for a long time as a student in school, religious education. It does seem to stray significantly away from the actual
mm.
message of Christianity of Christ, which is obviously you are helping the poor, not expecting material riches. The rich are not
Yeah.
going to get into heaven. It's going to be very hard to get to heaven. I don't think that's
Mm,
a message that will sell. I don't think if Jesus
yeah.
Christ turned up today, that a lot of people in those pews are going to be like, yeah, I really want to follow this one. What, stay
Mm.
broke, and be with the broke people? No, no, thank you. I want to be blessed. I want to be materially blessed. And there was a Nietzsche quote. I hate to be that pretentious guy to quote
Friedrich
Nietzsche.
Nietzsche in the house. I
Friedrich
couldn't.
Nietzsche in the
I had Nietzsche
house.
at my wedding, bro. I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
And he basically said that if every time somebody went to pray, if instead they did a good deed, we would live on heaven on earth. And I think there's something to
Mm,
it. Nothing wrong with praying. If you want to pray, God bless. I know there's a lot of religious way you've got to pray every day, multiple times a day. But there is something to it where maybe if the in-between answer is if after you prayed, you did a good deed, so everyone could be
yeah.
happy. What kind of world would we live in? Because, like I said, it does
Yeah.
seem that people go to prayer when they need something, and it's not necessarily a reflection of helping others. It's a reflection of, damn, I need to get this job. Damn, I need to get healthy. Damn,
I
can I
feel
get
like
this
that's
money?
religion in the age of capitalism, though. Like, and it's like we need to meet people where they're at, and I think where people at are their material needs, right? Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and fair enough. Like these are more exaggerated cases of like the car and the lifestyle. But it did also just start with like man's got to eat, and we're going to help you eat, and then it's like, hey, man's got to eat a bit more, man's got to get a
Yeah.
house, man's got to get this, so it's building within a system that unfortunately is here and is what we exist in, which is capitalism. And I feel like the reality of how these religions, well, specifically Christianity and mega churches looks, it's like the reality of like, it's almost like capitalism trumps religion in terms of like, but here's my question for you. Not just about cash monies. It's more around marketing.
Mhm.
So we live in London. And what I've noticed is it's always Christians who market, or I guess I should say preach, in like a very like aggressive way.
Okay.
I'm saying that as a Christian as well, by
Okay,
the way.
yeah,
Like I
yeah,
am
yeah,
a
go on.
person of faith. But it's just like, whereas like I see when like Muslim people are out and about, they just have a table set up. with
Right.
like flyers. Like there's
Right.
never a megaphone involved. And
Right.
then you have the Hare Krishna, they're dancing, they're singing. I never see Jewish people marketing or doing it. It's like, I'm just very curious and like, I'm kind of
Right.
just opening this up. I'm keen to be educated.
Yeah.
But I've just noticed some religions are just louder than others and more aggressive in how they go out and let themselves be known and try and convert people. Have you noticed that?
Yeah. So there is a reason for that, because Judaism is not a proselytizing religion. They don't try to seek new members, basically. Whereas Christianity and Islam, which is the reason why they both have like 1 billion members, is because they seek to grow membership, right? I once sat there and thought about it in terms of like game theory, in terms of like if you wanted to design a religion to kind of scale up as quickly as possible, you'd make it very hard to leave and you'd make it very easy to join. And Judaism is the opposite of that. Actually, it's very hard to join. They don't even want you to join. If you try to join, there's like 10 months of like schooling and thing you got to do. So like, yeah, different religions have different kind of inherent structures, and there's a reason why they have certain scales and others don't. And yeah, that's basically it, really. But you're right, there are obviously different audio levels when you go outside and and you want to think. But also, you have to also like to go real religiously nerdy. Obviously, like after the Reformation, Christianity kind of became like open house. It's open source. Anyone can go and start up their own church. Where it used
Open source religion.
yeah, it used to be.
There
It
you
used
go.
to be the Catholic Church was in charge, then you had the
Yeah.
Orthodox Church that splintered off. Then the Reformation came, and then obviously now in America, in Africa, in in Asia, people can just start up a church. I can start up a church next week and be like, I'm a pastor who wants to follow me, and there's almost a sense of entrepreneurialism that exists within Christianity, where you can just go about, set up your institution, get your tax-free breaks, and yeah, have a very nice life. You know, there's what's it, Creflo Dollar. There's people that have like planes, jet planes. Do you know what I mean? I don't think I know a single entrepreneur who hasn't sat there and thought, should I just start a religion, bruv?
Oh,
This
bro,
is
yeah, of
lucrative.
course.
This is
Obviously,
lucrative.
obviously.
Scientology, all these things where it's like, come on.
People have done that. People are commoditizing wellness and spirituality left, right, and center. Like, let's not forget that things like yoga at the end of the day were like asanas, the poses are just like one part of a much bigger spiritual practice, right? And there's so many businesses now that at their root are like a very like ancient idea that was intended to provide peace, serenity, well-being, spiritual connection to nature, the universe, whatever it is. And now it's like an astrology app or like tarot cards or like a retreat or a friggin' mushroom, whatever supplement. But they're all derivative of like deeply ancient spiritual practices. And, you know, there's something of patriarchy within that, right? Because if you look at history and look at times where people were trying to, well, women specifically gather people in commune with nature or like try and pass down some of this wisdom, they were called witches, they were burned on, you know, whatever, stakes.
Persecuted.
They were like seen as a threat. Now, fast forward through the centuries and history, men suddenly go, yo, here's my new biohacking technology. No one's calling him a wizard, putting him on a fire. Like, anyway, I'm just saying it's very, very interesting to me to see this kind of stuff. It's just like there's nothing new here. People like Brian Johnson, like, oh my God, he's about to eat mushrooms. Who is he? Is he about to eat mushrooms? So when a billionaire, multimillionaire white man does something that a bunch of hippies and druggies and layabouts do on the regs and get chastised for, we all now need to watch it and make it a cultural moment because he's a white man with money.
And it's also illegal, wasn't it? He did Brian Johnson, the kind of longevity guy, he did a mushroom trip, really, and he documented it all on his social media. I'm like, but isn't like psilocybin still technically like an illicit substance?
Look, I'm not even trying to diss him. I'm just trying to diss us as a society. Exactly. And the way we react to it. When certain people do things, they're losers or criminals. Then certain people do the same thing. It's a cultural, aspirational moment. Come on.
I wanted to show you something real quick, actually.
You about to drop some psilocybin?
No, on the Pocket job board, we kept getting this company like just posting loads of jobs, and I was like, wow, these guys are like doing really well. Like they, you know, they're investing in our job board. And I looked into it, and it's an astrology app called CoStar, and this has like a bajillion downloads. So if you are deep into astrology, like, you know, check it out.
There.
But like, yeah, listen, this is like, you can build like insane businesses in these sort of sectors and worlds. Obviously, no disrespect if you genuinely believe in this stuff.
People
love this stuff.
Love
On that note, we will leave everyone to it, and we will see you all soon.
See you all soon. Bye.
Yo, so we are now going to go to our Patreon story, and it was sparked by a discussion that I heard on the Stephen Bartlett podcast, where a founder basically said that she fired 2 staff members who were both married and were having an affair with each other in the workplace. Let me play the clip real quick so we can get a real fair assessment of what she was talking about.
To watch the full episode, subscribe at patreon.com/techish. You'll get access to all full-length episodes, no adverts, the chance to submit your questions into the show, and early bird discounted tickets to our live shows. Subscribe for as little as $5 a month.